Vitamin D is an essential nutrient that is part of the fat-soluble vitamin family. Vitamin D receptors can be found in every single cell in the body, hence its wide-ranging effects, so wide that many consider vitamin D to be a hormone. Vitamin D plays a role in over 200 processes in the body, including energy, bone health, immune function, hormone regulation, mood stabilizing, pain reduction, and more. Did you know it is possible to get too much of a good thing, and that vitamin D supplementation has become controversial these days? The main issues I see involve taking too much of one of the fat-soluble vitamins without the others. Stay tuned to learn more. You're listening to Menopausenaturalsolutions, episode 165, Vitamin D for your menopausal transition. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, Naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hello and thank you for your company. And an extra special hello to the wonderful women who joined me recently for my midlife fatigue session. Thank you for all your glowing feedback. If you missed out, the replay is still available for purchase. It was during this event we learned about how the body produces energy and how the menopausal transition impacts some of the vital processes in the energy production line. At the end, we discussed 5 of my top nutrients to consider if you're experiencing fatigue. And it occurred to me that one of the nutrients, vitamin D, I hadn't discussed with you on the podcast before. So let's do it now. But first, some science. When our skin is exposed to UV light from sunshine, we can create a form of pre-vitamin D3. There are so many factors that can limit this, including wearing sunscreen, the amount of melanin in your skin, the time of the day, etc. Sunshine is the preferred source of pre-vitamin D. But with our busy indoor lifestyles, religious beliefs, geographical locations, and certain medications causing photosensitivity, it's not always possible. This is where food and supplementation can help. Vitamin D2 can be found in certain mushrooms. D2 is generally inferior to D3, but it's a good dietary vegan source to increase this vitamin. D3 can be found in fatty fish, especially cod liver oil, and also in egg yolk. These food options are great, not just because of the form of vitamin D that they contain, they also provide us with important cofactors such as the retinol form of vitamin A. Vitamin D extracted from your food or supplements has to be absorbed via the digestive system. Various digestive conditions reduce our ability to do this. This is where skin-produced vitamin D has an advantage and where transdermal vitamin D therapy may be indicated. The area with the most research on topical application is the vagina. In the European Menopause and Andropause Society 2022 Vitamin D Position Statement, they discuss the use of vaginal suppositories of vitamin D for vulvovaginal atrophy. If you have worked with me and I have prescribed you a compounded vaginal product, chances are it not only contained vitamin D, but also the rest of the fat-soluble vitamin family. Once your vitamin D has made it to the bloodstream, it needs to undergo a 2-step process in order to be usable. The first step is via the liver, and the second is via the kidneys. So you can see that if your liver function or your kidney function isn't optimal, This can slow your ability to process vitamin D into its active form. I want to briefly mention another form of vitamin D, and that is calcifidiol, and that is the active form of vitamin D. In Australia, this is a practitioner-only compound, and this product is reserved for patients with known liver issues as it bypasses the need to be processed as it's already in the active form. What we also need to discuss is the many nutrient cofactors needed along the way. Let's start with the rest of the fat-soluble nutrient family. This includes vitamin A, vitamin E, and vitamin K. In previous podcast episode 154, I discussed the importance of vitamin A. I have already added vitamin E and vitamin K to my list of future podcast episodes. It really worries me the number of women I consult with who have been taking high dose vitamin D on their own for the long term without retesting and without considering the rest of the fat-soluble family. We seem to know that vitamin A in high doses is dangerous, but many haven't received the memo about vitamin D. Vitamin D can also be toxic in high doses. When taken with the rest of the fat-soluble family, it minimizes toxicity. Signs of toxicity include too much calcium in the blood, promoting the development of calcium stones like kidney stones, and bone pain due to the pulling of calcium from the bones and moving it to the bloodstream. This is why it's an idea to test for serum calcium and parathyroid hormone when checking vitamin D levels. Other required cofactors include a fat source. I like fish oil. Being a fat-soluble nutrient, it needs a fat source in order to be properly absorbed and utilized. Magnesium, the master menopause mineral, is needed in 8 different stages of vitamin D metabolism. Zinc may be required for optimal vitamin D receptor function and to facilitate entry into your cell. Other nutrients of interest include potassium, boron, resveratrol, vitamin C, iodine, and vitamin B12. That seems like quite a lot of effort for a humble little vitamin. Is it worth it? Yes! Vitamin D plays about 200 different roles in the body. Let's break down a few of the most relevant ones for this stage of life. Probably its most well-known role is to do with bone density. It does this by enhancing calcium absorption via the digestive system. It also helps to maintain serum levels of both calcium and phosphate. These 2 minerals are crucial for bone health. But did you know vitamin D also plays a key role in muscle as well as nerve health? After the last few years, I bet most of you have heard about the immune strengthening benefits of vitamin D. I think of vitamin D as an immune regulator. Great for low immunity, great for autoimmunity, especially when combined with vitamin A, but also great for allergies. Vitamin D and depression. Have you ever experienced seasonal affective disorder or winter depression? I have when I lived in Germany with its long and cold winters. But some vitamin D deficient individuals can experience depression all year round. Vitamin D receptors have been discovered in parts of the brain that regulate mood, as well as parts of the brains that assist with memory and cognition. Glucose metabolism can also be improved with adequate vitamin D due to its role in enhancing glucose metabolism and insulin signaling. Vitamin D may benefit the cardiovascular system. It is thought to play a role in cholesterol and triglyceride management, as well as blood pressure regulation. Vitamin D can act as an anti-inflammatory agent. Several studies have linked decreased pain tolerance we've lowered vitamin D levels. And the list of vitamin D benefits goes on, but I wanted to give a balanced outlook on vitamin D. It's not about how high you can get your levels. It's about finding a magical medium, not too high or too low. I also wanted to bring to your attention that all supplements come with cautions, contraindications, and medical interactions, and vitamin D is no different. If you are taking any medication, you should check with your healthcare team for interactions. Some medications, such as certain diuretics, may increase your risk of vitamin D toxicity, whereas other medications like statins and steroids may reduce your level of vitamin D and create a deficiency. I hope you've enjoyed learning about vitamin D. Thank you for your company today. If you need a hand optimizing your health and nutrient levels, consider booking a consultation. Until next week, bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide, and it is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend.